Hello my friends, it's Laressa aka Latte, the R-E-S-S-A. Welcome back or welcome to the channel. If you are new here, this is a place on the internet where I help fellow real estate brothers and sisters keep it real estate so you can become that real estate agent. Now in this video, let's talk productivity, but more so, let's talk about Notion, because as real estate agents, we wear multiple hats and things can get kind of crazy when you're managing multiple clients, multiple deals, and waiting to be paid out on commission. Now in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how I built out a portion of my active listings and a transaction management dashboard, which is a Notion template that is also available for purchase on my Etsy shop. So check out the link in the cards above and linked in the description box down below. Now again, if you want to save some brain calories, that template is going to help you out very greatly, because Notion can be quite intimidating and overwhelming if you're not used to this kind of platform. So we're going to head into my iPad here, because I first want to show you a beautiful diagram that I have drawn up to help you better understand Notion and what we are going to be building in this tutorial. Now let me zoom on in here. So typically with Notion, as mentioned, if you're not familiar with it, Notion is a productivity management platform for individuals, teams, and organizations. And essentially what this is, what I want you to think of it as a blank whiteboard, essentially. Now this Notion workspace that we're building, we have one single homepage, and on this homepage we are going to be creating a single database, and this database is going to be hosting all of your active in-contract clients. Now with this particular template and the purpose of this dashboard, it's to be used in conjunction with your CRM. Now, while you can create a mock-up CRM with Notion, again, I didn't build this dashboard with that intention. What we are doing is creating a centralized place where we can manage our in-contract clients, meaning that they have either signed the buyer or seller representation agreement, and we as the real estate agents are about to facilitate a transaction and are going to be paid out on that real estate deal. So we need a place to manage all those in-contract clients. So again, on this homepage, we have the one single database, and what we're doing with that database is creating different views, like this database views, and we're creating these mini dashboards here, as you see in the pink, because we want to track the important calendar dates of the clients, buyer end deals, and the seller end deals. Now notice the blue here. Again, this is our main database or main spreadsheet per se, because if you go over to point 2, your database here, everything that is in a column here, as you see noted in the green, is actually what is called or referred to as properties. So let's say in this case, this column here was the date of the deal. This column is the property address. This is the final sales price, and you get the idea. Now, when you add all these columns together and you put them in a row, as you see here in the red, in point 4 here, these rows of information create essentially what's noted as a Notion card or a Notion page. And these pages make up the content of your database. Now, when you have pages in your database, you can create different views. By, in this case, if you see point number 5 here, we can create different views by using what's called filters and sorts to segregate the property so we can see what we want to see. Now, in Notion, there are a few ways you can create different views. Now, essentially, instead of just seeing your database as a plain spreadsheet, we can take that information and see it in different ways. So we can make a calendar view, we can make a Kanban board, which I love, a table view again, and a gallery. And then we can take these views, and if we go to point number 6, we can create what I like to refer to as mini dashboards. So essentially, with that main client transaction database, we are creating mini dashboards. That way, again, that we can see the buyer end deals, seller end deals, and any important calendar dates. So again, if we go back to our first point here, our homepage, we have our main database that is feeding these database views. That way we can see our mini dashboards just to see seller end deals, buyer end deals, and calendar dates. So that in a nutshell is essentially what we are building out on Notion today. We are going to be building out a board. Hi friend, sorry for the interruption, but if you didn't know, I have an Etsy shop where I sell digital real estate Canva templates for my fellow real estate brothers and sisters out there. And if you sign up for my email newsletter, you can get a special Etsy discount code for your next order. So scan this code here or find a link in the description box down below, and let's get back to the video. So let's head over to my computer here. Now, what you're seeing right now is Notion. Now, this is actually my active listings and transaction management dashboard that, again, is available for purchase on my Etsy shop. So if you want to save some time and some brain calories, definitely check out the link below. But again, what we're building out today is essentially just the active seller transaction and the active buyer transaction section. Now, my main board here that I sell on my store is a lot more robust and advanced. And if I showed you how to build this, we would be here for a month, and we both don't have time for that. So I'm just going to show you again just a portion of this board here. Now, I'm just using a free Notion individual account. You can sign up with Google. It's really fast and easy. So hopefully you've gotten that far. But essentially, we are just going to be creating a new page here. If we just go to here, just add new page. And it's just going to be a blank page. I like to think of it again as a blank whiteboard. So I'm just going to expand this page, and I'm going to go to the three dots up here, and I like to do small text on and full width, so we have the full page here. And I'm also just going to close out this hamburger or this menu on the side. I'm just going to click over here, close sidebar, and this is what we're working with. Now you can title this whatever you want, but we can go in and name this active deals. And then we can give this page an icon. So you can add, if we click on the icon here, we can add in an emoji, different icons, or a custom one if you'd like. I'm just going to go in, let's see, folder. I'm just going to do folder so I know that this is client transactions, just like that. But again, you can do whatever you want. You can also add in a cover if you'd like. You can add a cover. You can choose one over here. You can choose a color. You can upload your own. You can link one or use one in Unsplash. You can look up real estate. We'll see what they have. And then, you just click whatever you like. And then you can just rearrange this, reposition, just drag it where you want it. Something like that. Save position. But again, this is just personal preference as to what you want to build it out as. But for now, I'm just going to remove this and just keep it like that. Now we're just going to go in and use an empty page. So go ahead, click that. Now essentially, when you click this plus button here, you're going to see this other pop-up menu. And what this is referred to in Notion is essentially blocks. So you can see and scroll through everything that you're able to do with this page. Now also, if you press the backslash key, the one with the question mark on your keyboard, it also brings up that menu. Now in this case, we are just going to, I like to always do the backslash key and then just search. I'm going to search for a database, and we're going to do an inline database. I lied. We're going to do we'll do that again. Database full page. So go database full page. That way, it's going to bring you to another page. So we're going to call this client to active clients. And just go ahead and hit enter. And now to toggle back to your home page, essentially, you can hit this active deals because that's what we name that page. And we just created this this database that is its own page, okay? I know it sounds kind of confusing, but bear with me. So we're going to hit that page again because this is where we're going to do the bulk of our work. So essentially right now, again, as I mentioned, the database is usually going to be in this table or this spreadsheet. Now we can name this, again, the active clients. You can also give this an icon, which I like to do. So I'm just going to click on that, go to icons, and maybe search people. Something like that, so we know that this is our active clients. Now, the easiest way to build this dashboard out or the database out is if we go and just create a new page. So again, a new page inside of the dashboard. So we're just going to hit new, and it's going to open up this blank page on the side. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up because what we're doing right now is creating the properties. So again, the properties are going to be everything that is in the columns of each page here. So if we go back to our iPad, again, what we're building out is just this part here. So we're building out the properties, okay? So let's go back to our computer here. Now I'm going to name this really nothing, because what we're doing here is adding in properties. So after this, after we create the properties, I'm going to show you how to create templates for your database. That way, when you have a buyer or seller, you can just quickly choose that template and then it will populate your checklist if you want. So the first thing we're going to do here is create, I like to create, here they're giving us a tag. So basically we can rename this as client type. Right, and we are just going to click empty, and this is where we're just going to list off client types. So client types would be buyers, and then you would just hit create here, create, seller, create. We can do, if you wanted to, you can do first time home buyer. We can do investor, and then we can do out of town buyer. So anything that you want to create as a client type, you very well can create that. Now I would just delete all these people out, X. So now you have basically a list of options, and you can go in and change the color if you would like. So we can give the buyer blue, we can give the sellers purple, and just so you can just have, nice color coordination if you'd like. Now that's the client type. Now we're going to go underneath and add another property. And so in this case, what we're doing, I like to do, is called a status, but I'm going to choose the select one here. So that way you can only select one status. So I'm going to say this is buyer status. Now again, we are creating a board that is tracking our active clients. So I'm just going to hit out of here. And again, same thing, we're going to note the different phases of a real estate transaction. So for a buyer, we could be home search. That's one phase. Hit create. Another one would be under contract. Another phase would be contingency. So buyer due diligence. Another one would be closing. Another one would be closed and complete. And let's say another one would be terminated, just in case this client doesn't actually go through, or if something happens in the contingency period where they're not able to fulfill that contract, and so that buyer has to terminate. So again, you can change the colors. You can do it in, nice chronological order. You can do it in the rainbow if you want to. So red for home search, and then under contract, orange, contingency could be yellow, closing, so going to the closing table, blue, and then closed and complete, we could say green, and then terminated, we can change this to be light gray per se. So that's buyer status. Now we want to create a seller status, okay? So again, we're going to go down to select. We are going to name this accordingly. So it is seller status. Then same thing. Now in this case, instead of home search, we're going to say active on market, because this is a seller, their listing is active on market. Same thing, we can do under contract as a phase. The other one, we could do contingency. Again, this is the buyer due diligence. So again, anything like financing, home inspection, appraisal. Probably spelled that wrong. There we go. Hit that, and then we're going to do closing. So again, this is going to go to the closing table, or go to the lawyers, and then this is going to go closing. After closing, we have closed and complete. So this would be where you would be paid out, and then that deal is completely closed out and archived. Closed and complete. And then next one, because this is a seller and a listing, we could have expired or terminated, in case the seller wants to take their property off. Again, you can go through and create that nice rainbow effect if you want to, but I'm going to save you the time. In that case, we're moving on to the next property here. I like to do another one that's called deal source. So again, I'm going to do this as a select, or you could do this as a multi-select. The difference between the two is multi-select is you're able to select more than one. But I'm going to go select, and I'm just going to do deal source, because sometimes you want to keep track of where your deals are coming from. So if you want to move this up, we can click the 6 dots, put that there so it stays like that. Again, these are basically referred to as blocks. So we're going to do deal source. In this case, I'm going to say YouTube. So whatever lines of lead generation that you do, could be cold calling, door knocking, put it in there. In this case, we're just going to do Instagram. We're going to do website, and you get the idea. You can make this list as long as you want. So wherever you want to track where deals are coming from, this is where you want to note it. But again, I'm going to make sure we just don't have anything selected in here. And then next up we have, of course, you can put in phone. So go down here to select phone. That's pretty simple. Go down here, select. I like email, like that. And then what we're going to select is we're going to do a text type as a property. That way we can do property property address. Now for this, the property address would be the seller's actual property address because they're selling that home. Now if this is going to be a buyer, you would put the address of the property that they want to buy. So technically we're trying to make the properties in this page here, the columns of the page, to be similar and able to use for both buyer clients and seller end deals, because real estate in the end is either they're going to be on the buying end or the selling end. So I digress. The next property that I like to use is a bunch of, let's see here, different dates. So we can go in here again and let's look for date here. This could be under contract date. So you keep track. This could be another date here. Where are you? Another date here. Closing date. Oh, we forgot another one. Contingency date. Contingency date. And I am just going to arrange it how I like it. See, like that. Now, another property that I like to use is having a link. So a URL link. So if you have, let's say, if you keep documents inside like a Google Drive, you could just take that link and put that Google Drive link there. So it's easy to manage it. I'm just going to call this G Drive link or Cloud Link, or however you keep your documents, digitally. You can put that link there. And then this is where we kind of get down into, I guess you could say, the formulas. So that way you can keep track of your total sales volume and your commission. Now I'm just going to keep the formulas pretty neutral here because on my actual listings dashboard and deals dashboard that I've created for Notion that I sell on my store, I have very sophisticated formulas so that way you can keep track of outbound and inbound referral leads and the commission and all that. But anyways, we're just going to keep it simple with just sales volume and gross commission income. So with that all said, we're just going to go down and continue on by adding in a property. In this case, we are going to be choosing numbers here. We are going to go in and choose, we're going to name this final sales price. And then this is the important part. You do have to go in. So it is the number, the type is number, but the number format. In this case, I like to just choose US dollar there. And then I don't know why it's just putting all this everywhere. I want this to be in a nice order. So sales price, we're going to go in and add in another number here. This is going to be office split commission, if that makes sense. Again, in this case, we are going to choose a percentage. And now I'm going to go down here, add in another number. Let's say, we'll call this fees. So if your brokerage has other fees, you can also keep track of what the fees that are deducted as well. So in this case, I'm going to put US dollar. And then I'm going to go down once more. I'm going to bring this here. We're going to go down, and this is where we're going to put in our split. Before that, we're going to do gross commission. We're going to call this GCI. Again, this is going to be, actually, for GCI, this is not going to be a number. I lied. It's not going to be a number. Delete. GCI is actually going to be a formula. Why? Because you can also create formulas with Notion. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to select formula here. Formula. And this formula is going to be GCI, gross commission income. And this is where we can edit our formula. So if you're familiar with Excel and spreadsheets and things like that, it's pretty much the same thing. So in this case, to create our formula, it is just going to get the GCI. It's just going to be your final sales price times the commission, your office commission. So it's going to be, we're just going to search for gross, nope. Brain, what's my brain thinking? Final sales price. Final sales price, just search for that, click on that, and let's just do the times button. So, times. And then we are looking for the office commission and just hit done. Now you can test it to make sure that it works. So essentially what we're doing is going to be doing, let's say if the final sales price was 500 and you took your office, the contract takes 3%, then it's going to give you that $15,000 in commission. So in this case, you can see here, final sales price times office commission. Now I am going to click on here again because I want we're going to go to edit property. So keep it as a formula, and then we just made the formula here in edit. Now the number format is going to be, in this case, I prefer US dollar, so everything is nice in order. So we're just going to keep that there for now. We'll remove those numbers in a minute or so because now we're going to keep going down because we have to add in our split. So that's going to be a number, and then it is going to be, we're going to say my split percentage. So if you are with a split brokerage, so in this case here at EXP, we have an 80-20, so 80 to us, 20% to EXP. And so that's how it works here. But if you have a 70 or a 90, whatever, that's just how you format it. And then again, the number format is going to be a percent. And then if we add another property, we're going to be doing another formula. So this is where we are going to make the formula for the net commission income. So in this case, I'm just going to call this net GCI, and then we're going to make sure it's here. So we can just click on here, and this is where you can create the formula. So essentially, your net in this case is going to be, we're going to look for GCI, click on that, times the split here, your split. So my split here, and then we're going to do minus the fees. So again, if you have different fees, like a broker fee, that's what you want to deduct. Or if you want to keep track of your GST or any kind of taxes, that can also be deducted as well. But I just wanted to give you that option. So let's click done. So let's just pretend we're like calculating our commission here. So let's say the final sales price is 500,000. Your office commission is 3%. Let's say your broker charges you a $25 broker review fee in this case, and then your split here, so the GCI is 15,000, your split here, let's say, is 80%, calculate that, and then again it's going to give you your net GCI, and again I just like to make sure that the number format is US dollar. So again, if we click on this, we can see here GCI times my split minus any fees. Now if we remove the fee here, you can see it's $12,000, but $25 broker review fee. There you go. So that's how you create the formula, and then I'm going to show you later on how you can tally up all of your sales commission, all your total sales volume, and then all of your gross commission and your net commission income as well. So again, I'm just going to delete all of this because we know that all of this stuff is working. So just delete that. All right. Real quick, this is a PSA for my real estate brothers and sisters watching this video. If you are an agent that wants to build, scale, and leverage your business with YouTube and modern social media strategies, then I am your girl. So scan this code here or find the link in the description box down below to book a one-on-one call with me to learn what partnership would look like with me here at eXp Realty and what I can do specifically to help you. So with that said, I'll see you on the inside. So again, if you see this symbol, it is a formula, so that's why this is going to stay 0 and 0. All right, so let's see here. I think that is all we needed for all of the properties. I'm just looking at my notes on the side here. So that's pretty much it. So now that we've created the properties, what we can go in and do is actually create different templates. So we're going to go back into active clients here. And so now we are going to go here over to new. We're going to click this down button. And this is where we can create templates for this specific database, the active clients database. So we're going to hit new template. And as you can see here, all of our properties that we just created are listed here. And we're just going to call this buyer. So essentially, this is where you would put the client's name, but we're just going to put this as a buyer so you can know what this is. Now, in this bottom section here is where we can create our different checklists if you would like, and anything you want to keep track of in terms of client information, you could very well build that out here. So I'm just going to open this up just to kind of give you an idea. Now, in this case, I also like to go to these three dots here. I like to go small text and full width. So that's what the card would look like. Now, again, you can go in, hit the backslash key. I usually like to do things in toggles just to keep things clean. So we can do, let's say, a checklist. And then if you open this up, click your cursor here, we can do another backslash, and then you can do a to-do list, and then you can have a bunch of different tasks here. So you can have a running checklist for that specific buyer client. Again, you can make this as elaborate as you want it to be, but I just wanted to give you a quick idea and rundown of what that would look like. Now we're just going to hit this back here, and then we're just going to click out of here. Now if we click on this down button again, you're going to see now that we have a buyer template. Now we can also change the icon here as well. So we just made a new card here, but that's not what I was trying to do. So let me go back here, click that, click on the three dots again, edit, and I like to add an icon. So icon people will give the buyer the circle one with the blank background. So we'll do that. You can choose a different color if you want. So I think for buyers, we said it was blue. And then we're gonna click out of here. I'm actually going to click on this. So click on those six dots, delete that page because I don't want that yet. And then I'm going to go again here, and we're gonna create a new template. And this is gonna be for a seller. Let's add the icon here. Let's click on that basketball, go to icons, and we can click on this again, but in this case, we can choose, this is red. Hopefully, we did client type. Oh, it's purple. We made sellers purple. Oop, boop, 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 boop. Here we go. Purple. And again, this is where you can create, open this page up, make this full width, small text full width, and then go down here and create your more robust checklist for your client here. You can create other things down here as well. Again, open this up, make a to-do list, task, and then you get the idea. So that's basically your seller template. Again, we're going to hit back and just hit out of here. Now it's giving us all these blank pages. I don't want anything in this yet. So we're just going to select all that and just delete. Now you can see here, name, client type, buyer status. Again, these are all the running properties, right? So if we were to click new here and just give this a name, Mickey Mouse, like that. You see the name here? That's a client name. If we open this up, it's going to open up what you think is a template, but there's actually nothing here. So if you scroll down, you can see that you have a buyer template and a seller template. So let's say Mickey Mouse was a buyer. We would just click buyer. And then let's say you had your checklist all here. It would pull all of your checklist template here, if that makes sense. Now in this case, we can name this client. The buyer type is a buyer, or you could say first time home buyer, wherever you want to say for your client type. Buyer status, let's say that this buyer is in contingency buyer due diligence. And so again, you can go in here and you fill out all the information like that. But for the sake of this tutorial, let's say that this Mickey Mouse client is in closing, and this is where you would then, let's say this deal came from YouTube. Again, you can put email, no. Let's fill this out. Let's just go ahead and fill this out. Phone. 143 Sparkle Avenue, Disney. I'm making this up. Under contract. Okay, so let's say we got under contract today. Today? Yeah, today. And then let's say contingency date. So let's say they have 10 business days, or let's just say the next Wednesday over. Closing date, let's say this closes pretty quickly. Let's say it closes this day. This day. Okay. And then again, this is where you could put your link here to your G Drive essentially. And then sales price, let's say Mickey Mouse. What did he buy? He's got money. 1.7. 1.7 million. And then office commission, let's put in 3%. Your fees, $25 broker review fee. Then your split is 80. And that's your net. Good job. Now, there's one property that I forgot to include, which is actually one of my most favorites, is actually putting an image of the property. So if we go to add property here, again, you can add a property whether it's in your templates or actually in any card here, because it's all going to be synced across everywhere because it is part of that specific database. So we're just going to add a property here, and we're going to go down to files and media. This is where you can select a photo. I'm just going to call this a thumbnail, or you can say property photo, whatever you want. Click out of here, and then I'm just going to choose a file. Now, if you are part of the free, you only have 5 megabytes, which is totally fine. It's good enough. So I'm just going to choose a file, and let's say this one. Add property photo. There you go. And I'm going to show you where this photo is actually, where you can actually make it pop up on your other dashboard. So we'll get into that in a minute. But let's say you filled out all this stuff, and then this is basically your buyer, your active buyer who is about to be closed. So now that you have all that, let's go ahead and just create a seller. We're going to call her Minnie Mouse. Same thing. Now you can add in a client any which way. You can click this button or go up to here and it just start to choose a new client right away. You can click that and it would just populate into your table here. But in this case, I'm just going to open this up. We're going to name this seller, and then instead of a buyer status, we're going to do a seller status. And again, for the sake of this tutorial, let's just say she is closed and complete. This also came from, let's say, Instagram. Again, email, phone, property address. Let's go see. She also lives on Sparkle Avenue. And then again, under contract date, let's just say it's also today. Contingency, let's say it's this day. Closing date is going to be, let's see here, this day. And again, you can put in that G Drive link, final sales price. Let's say she's selling a home. That's the final sales price that they agreed on. Again, 3%, $25. And then my split is 80. That's the commission. And let's just pick a thumbnail for now. Okay, let's choose that one. And as you see here, I didn't immediately pick a template right away. So even if you filled out your properties, spell her name right, then you can go down here and just pick the seller template. Again, this is where you would put all your very robust checklist down here, or any listing information, things like that, because again, she is a seller. All right, now as you can see here, we have the properties. Now you can very well go ahead and make this look nicer, if you will. So sometimes you don't need to see everything on one dashboard. So in this case, I like to just go to the 3 dots up here, and then I like to go to properties down here. And right now, 19 of the properties are being shown. Again, you don't need all of that. So we can just close this out, this out, this out, this out. I like to keep final sales price in because you'll see in a second. I like GCI on, keep that on, off, turn that off, keep net GCI on, turn that off, property address, seller, okay. Like that. So once you have what you want to see, we can then make this a little smaller because you don't need to see all that. Buyer status. Where are you, seller status? Over here, click and drag. Closing date, we can put that at the front. Then here we have sales, final sales price. So essentially, this is going to be your total sales volume because you can calculate the total. So we're just going to do that. And then I want this to probably be right here. Make this a little bit smaller, so that way you can kind of see everything just on one page. Now here's the fun part. Now if you see here, calculate, see that? If you hover your mouse just underneath the column that you want to calculate, just hit calculate. And in this case, final sales price. This is going to be your total sales volume. So just hit sum and it's going to calculate. So that essentially would be your final sales price. Underneath, same thing. You can do this with GCI. Hit sum. And with your net, hit sum, and boom. Now you can keep track of all of your commission and your sales volume, which is pretty nifty. Now, the next thing we're going to go in and do is actually go back into our homepage here, active deals. And then we are, again, this is basically your blank page. Now, again, if we go back into my iPad here really quickly, this here, we are now going to be creating what's called different views and creating like our mini dashboards, if you will, just to make things fun and interesting. Now these views again are going to be pulled directly from this main dashboard here, because that is what we will need to do is create different using the filters and sorts by segregating the properties essentially. Now let's go back into my computer screen here. So I'm just going to hit underneath. And in this case, I, again, love to use toggles. So I'm just going to hit the backslash key, look for toggles. And I'm just going to say this is calendar. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to call this active buyer deals. Underneath, we're going to do active seller deals. Okay. Now, we can essentially open these up. So I like, again, to use toggles because you can just open it and close it when you don't need it. So in this case, for calendar, what we're going to do here is click here. And we're going to hit the backslash key. And what we're going to search for is linked view of database, okay? Linked view of database. So we're going to click that. Then we're going to choose the database here, which is going to be active clients. Click on that. And again, it's going to pull this here, but we don't want a table. We want something that's going to be more fun. So we're going to just hit new empty view. And we're going to put this in a calendar. Okay, now what we are going to be keeping track of, in this case, let's say instead of right here, show calendar by, it's showing calendar by under contract date. In this case, we're just going to do closing date. And you can make multiple calendars for each date shown if you want to, and I'll show you that in a minute. But we're just going to hit done. And essentially, we got to go over here. So you can see here, Mickey Mouse. This is her. We said this was closing date. Yeah, closing date. Mickey Mouse closes here on the 19th. And then if we go to the next month here, we have a Minnie Mouse here. Now again, what we can do is show more properties on that card here. So right now it's just showing the name of the client. But if you go up to the three dots, I usually like to turn on here, go to properties, it's showing 0 essentially. But what I typically like to turn on is the client type, so you can see what kind of client that is. And if you want to, you can also put down, let's see, where's the address, property address, turn that on. And if you wanted to, you can also just see final sales price like that. So that way, if you click on this card, you can see that. Now you can change the way that this card is coming up. So if you go to the three dots again, I prefer, if I go to layout here, calendar, I prefer show open pages in the here side peak rather than center peak. I like side peak because it just does that. I just like that. I always prefer the side peak, and so when I don't need it, I just close it out. Now again, we can go up to here, calendar. If you click on that, we can rename this as closing, spell right, closings. And again, you can also create another calendar just to see, let's say, the buyer contingency dates, because that's important too. So you can click this plus button here. And then again, you would just click active clients. But there's actually an easier way to do this. So if I just delete this view here, delete view, if you click on this and you just hit duplicate, name this contingency. And then instead of where we are, go to layout again, hit calendar. So we need to show this calendar as show calendar by not closing date, but show calendar by the contingency date. So click that. And so now it's showing you the contingency dates there. There you go. And again, if you don't need this calendar, you would just click out of this toggle, boom, hidden. That way you can keep your home page very clean and very seamless. Now we're going to go into buyer deals here. Click that open. Again, I'm going to search for linked database view. Click on that once again. And in this case, we are going to hit active clients. And again, you can keep this chart here, but we don't want that. What I want specifically is a Kanban board. So I'm going to hit new. And if you see here, I'm kind of in the way. I'm going to click board. This board here, click board. And then what we want this to be doing is here. It's doing it group by buyer status, which it is already doing. Now in this case, we want to turn all this on here. And then you can rearrange this in here by pulling the 6 dots here, or you very well could just rearrange this like this. Put this first, put where are you under contract? Under contract is over here. Oh, I'm just gonna hide this one. So the reason why it says no buyer status is because it is pulling the seller status. So that's why it says no buyer status, because obviously it's going to be a seller if it doesn't have a buyer status. So I'm just going to hit that, the 3 dots, and hit hide. And I'm going to also hide this here, terminated. I'm going to hit 3 dots, hide. And then I'm going to make sure that this is in order. They're closing closed. Now, as you can see here, we have this board. Now there are things that you can make this to look a little bit nicer, a little bit more cleaner. We're going to go through these 3 dots here. Now you can go into layout again. And if we go here, card size, right now we have it as medium. You can change it to small, medium, or large, but I like just medium. But what we want to do here is actually go down here. You see card preview. It says none right now, but because we are able to put a thumbnail photo of that property, if you click here, you can see this menu here, and we're just going to turn this on. Click thumbnail, because that is the property, and that's how you're going to see the picture of the property. Great, huh? So in this case, we're going to go hit out of layout, and we are going to turn on more properties. So click here. Right now, 1 is being shown. Now, again, typically what I like to see is, of course, the address. So hit address, and if you want to, you can do the final sales price as well. And anything else that is pertinent, you can just put the phone there as well. So you can easily just see that. Again, if we click on this card here, it should pull up in that side peek as well. That way you can see your client. But again, let's say if Mickey wasn't in closing, let's say he was actually just under contract, you can just click and drag the card that way, and it changes the status of that particular client. But again, closed in, it's moved this, closed. We want to show this. So there you go. I like to have a Kanban board because I like to see the different phases of a transaction. And same thing below, we can just rename this too. So we can just click on that, rename buyer board, like that. And then the same thing, we're going to do the same thing for our seller down here. I'm just going to click this toggle out, open active seller deals, and we're going to do our / key, look for linked database view. We're going to go to active clients, and then we are going to create a new empty view. Again, go into board, and this time, instead of group by buyer status here, we need to group by seller status. So group by up here, we need to look for seller status, which is down here. Click on that. And again, we are going to just show all. I'm going to close this out. I'm just going to close this out. Close that out. So these are going to be in the hidden groups here. I know, I'm sorry, I'm kind of in the way. But again, we just want to rearrange this so this is in the proper chronological order. Move this over here. Move this over here. Now same thing to turn on the thumbnail photo, go into the three dots, go into layouts, scroll down, go to card preview, and then go in and just hit thumbnail and that pops on. And again, we can turn our properties on. So let's turn on the address. Where are you? Down here, address. And again, you can turn on the phone and we can also see the final sales price. And you can rearrange how you want the properties to be shown. So if you want the phone down here, again, click those three dots, just click and drag. So then it is in that order as you see here as well. So again, I'm just going to exit out of here, and that is essentially your active seller deals. Again, you can rename this as well and call it just your seller board. Okay, and then do that. And so now you have your buyer board and your seller board, and now you have your calendar. Again, you can make as many different views as you want, things like that. Now, let's say if we go here to calendar, we can see here, but let's just talk a little bit about the filters and sorts. Now, it's kind of hard to show you how to do this because we don't have enough data in here to really use filters and sorts, but essentially, if I just go into buyer deals here, let's say we want to create a view and we just want to see just the buyers in the home search field. So what we can do here, I'm just going to move Mickey Mouse over here. And for the sake of this, I'm going to create another client here. Donald Duck. Again, we can open up this card and name this as a buyer. There. And then we can give this select buyer here. Obviously, if they were in a home search, they wouldn't have all this information here. Anyways, probably just their phone number and email and contact. But anyways, we are going to be creating a view just to see clients in home search. So I'm going to hit this plus button here, hit plus, go to active clients. In this case, we are in this table here. And now what we are doing is it's showing us all of our active clients, but now we need to create filters and sorts. So we're going to filter this just by, let's see, your buyer's status just by home search. Okay. And then you can also sort this, I guess, in chronological order as well, but there's really nothing here for that unless you had, a different date that said first contact essentially. But anyways, that's pretty much how you use filters and sorts. Again, play around with this as much as you can because the more you use this, the easier it is to understand how to use Notion. But that, my friends, is in a nutshell how to use Notion to create a buyer and seller active transaction board. Again, if you want to see a live demo of this particular board here that I have for sale on my Etsy shop, then check out the link in the cards above and in the description box down below, as this particular dashboard does have a full how-to section and a special unlisted video course here that shows you exactly how to use this template in its full glory, because I spent a long time putting this together because this particular board actually tracks a lot more than what I just showed you. It tracks your listings, your inbound and your outbound referrals. It also shows you the referral commissions that you would make, so the commissions that you would have to pay out, the commissions that you have to receive. There is also a linked task database, so if you have certain tasks, you can assign it to certain clients and you can see it all in a beautiful calendar or in a list or in a gallery. It's just beautiful. So definitely check out the link in the description box down below if you want to save some time and brain calories. But with that all said, if you want to learn more about Notion and how to use Notion for, in this case, managing your YouTube content, then definitely check out this video right over here. And if you are ready, get ready to click in 3, 2, 1.